to another episode of Talking Busch. This is Derek Hartman coming to you live from the Communist Republic of Minnesota. Welcome. I believe one of my co-hosts is also from the Communist Republic of Minnesota. Welcome, Drew. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, gentlemen. It looks like I'm a fill, and I got two shoes to fill.
There's plenty of room out there for some hot takes. I'll tell you that.
Not necessarily big shoes either. So
yeah, I didn't say big shoes.
My other host is coming to you from the Democratic Republic of South Dakota. It seems like they can do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah, we're the land of freedom here, indeed. Although we're succumbing to the pressure as well. We got mask mandates. Schools are shutting down. It's a fickle beast, this COVID.
It's been an ugly couple weeks in terms of the COVID winter, and I don't think it's going to get prettier here as we go forward. But there's good news out there. The Timberwolves had the number 1 pick in the NBA draft.
I heard about that.
Did you hear about the guy that they took?
No. Please enlighten me.
The Timberwolves drafted Anthony Edwards tonight. It appeared that he was a little Andrew Wiggins-like in his college game. A lot of offense, not a lot of defense, kind of a try when he wants to try kind of guy. Then I read this little article today, and I'll just read some quotes here. This is quoting Anthony Edwards. To be honest, I can't watch basketball. He goes on to discuss how he always loved football and basketball is really not his thing. But once he dunked a basketball for the first time, he realized that he should probably be a basketball player.
Wow.
So when after that first dunk did you really get into basketball? Quote, I'm still not really into it. It's what I do.
It's a job. This guy needs to work on his interview skills. Holy cow.
He just goes on to say that he'd rather be in the NFL or be a rapper. And so, yeah. That's the
right in
the NBA draft, guys.
Awesome.
Oh, my gosh.
Get excited.
Dude, it's just like they suck. They're always going to suck. They're never not going to suck.
It's an
You know what?
problem.
Just consolidate the damn thing. Have like 10 teams. Make them all be super teams. Have them all be on the coast.
More compelling.
Yeah, maybe put one in Chicago and one in Texas or something like that. But
yeah, it's ugly. Do you think you looked into Glenn Taylor's eyes?
at this point, I want to interview with Glenn Taylor.
Right.
God damn.
He's selling the team anyways, right? He's disinterested.
He is.
He doesn't care.
It's not like it was better when he was interested.
Right.
No, God, no. No, arguably worse. That's enough about the Timberwolves. I don't really have anything else to say.
Yuck.
Apparently, they just made a draft pick now with 17th overall, some power forward from Serbia.
Well, I did see a rumor before we started that AP Krasinski said that they were looking to trade number 17 for Ricky Rubio. Now, I'm assuming that must have been just a hot take rumor there to get everybody going, but that would have been great.
AP Sports guy or I guess he's not AP Sports guy.
Yeah, whatever.
Johnny Athletic
there you go.
loves Ricky Rubio.
Mhm.
And who could blame him? He's Ricky Rubio. He's not like anybody else.
That's
Exactly.
right. Change your
there
face.
is a winning team in town, at least for the last 3 weeks. Your Minnesota Vikings are 3-0 out of the bye, and they don't look terrible.
It's just a good reminder that Mike Zimmer is god dang good at coaching defense. Just like real good at coaching defense. You lose your best defensive lineman, you lose not your best linebacker, but an important linebacker, and you have nothing in the secondary. You have 2 good safeties. You have no corners that can play. And tell you what, I mean, they're not great, but they're not terrible. And all things considered, I don't know. Sucks not to have the first pick, but But it's pretty impressive, I guess, is my feeling.
It'll be it makes you actually think maybe that training camp and preseason actually does matter a little bit, right? Especially again in the year where we had no returning corner. Well, I had a couple, but still a lot of rookies starting, right? And it was just a mess those first couple of games. And to your point there, you give Zimmer a little bit of time to actually coach the guys up. Granted, he's grabbing guys from the street now, but obviously he has some sort of system implemented. It seems like they're making a lot less mistakes in the secondary and actually covering guys, which goes a long way. And they're making some plays. So
yeah, the offensive line play is not great in pass protection, obviously, but the running game has been really good. Obviously, wasn't this last week, but it's tough defense too. So yeah, I mean, early in the season, the defense was just unbelievably bad, and they came to play coming out of the bye. It's really impressive, honestly, really impressive.
Do you think, as maybe great as job as Zimmer's done through the last 3 weeks on the defensive side of the ball, maybe he failed them through the first 5-6 games?
I mean, he's definitely not. He can't escape the blame. I mean, that was some bad defense, but also is a secondary full of very inexperienced players. And I kind of feel like the way that he wants to coach with the putting all his eggs in the defensive basket and grind the ball on the ground and keep the game close. It's a little bit like Moneyball. It works. I mean, I think it works. The problem has always been is that they get into a big game and the defense can't freaking stop anybody when they have to. That's always been the issue. You know what I mean? Yes. We've had lots of success since he's been here because he's a good coach. But yeah, and we're not in that position today. And then you get to have a reminder of the fact that he's a pretty dang good defensive coach. Is he blameless for the beginning of the season? Of course not. But still, he doesn't have nearly as much to work with on defense as he has up to this point.
Well, again, I think it's also how he probably got a better beat of what he had on defense, right? He probably tried to put in certain schemes and say, all right, here's how I want you guys to play. And then they failed. He's like, shit, scrap that. All right.
Yes.
Let's see what you're
I guess that is where that question was leading into, because the defense, if you watch it, and I'm not saying I watch on all 22 or anything like that, but it's completely different than it was through the first few weeks. Part of that's personnel. I get it. Some of that's changed. Anthony Barr's out, whatever. But we're playing primarily cover 2 now.
Right.
And they weren't a cover 2 defense.
Yeah, but and they're bringing a lot more pressure. Like before it was rush 4, try to get pressure with the D line, let the coverage work itself, and you couldn't cover anybody.
A little bit, yeah. So they're definitely bringing pressure, or they're completely dropping back. There is no in between. It's either bring like 6 or 7 guys, or bring only 4 or maybe only 3 and drop everybody. Which is a little bit, Zimmer loved to disguise blitzes. That was his thing. That kind of is his thing, coming out of the double A gap and whatever, where they might still only bring 4. He's not doing that anymore. He's just dropping them back and getting them in the position that they need to be in. So there's no doubt he's adjusting. I'm just wondering if maybe those first few weeks he didn't adjust quick enough. And that might have cost the team.
I say we blame it on Ngakoue. We're 3-0 since we got rid of him.
He could have been a cancer.
Speaking of that, I don't know if you're jumping the gun. Have you seen that Reddit article?
Yeah, I did. I do not have any future questions on that, but if you haven't seen, basically a Jaguars fan is trying to get Ngakoue to the Pro Bowl. The idea behind it is if Ngakoue is a Pro Bowler, the Jaguars get a 4th round pick instead of a 5th round pick from the Vikings. He has enlisted Detroit Lions fans, Chicago Bears fans, Green Bay Packers fans, New Orleans Saints fans to get on board with this.
Wow, that's awesome. a fan trying to make a difference. That's pretty awesome.
It's more than Carl Gerbschmidt does for his team.
Yeah, that's true.
I do have one more question pertaining to the Vikings.
Playoffs?
Probably not. Probably not. I don't know. 7 wins probably seems like about right, I would say. I just don't think they're that good. They bet the Packers at Lambeau. Granted, the Packers don't look nearly as tough as they did at the beginning of the season, but yeah. If you made me put money on it, I would bet against.
Man,
Drew?
Playoffs?
Maybe. Yeah, So the deal is, you got an extra wild card team this year, and then you have
weird alignment in that the NFC West is awesome and the NFC East is terrible.
right. So the NFC West is going to beat up on each other, right? They're going to even out. So either somebody's going to run away, right?
Yep.
The 49ers don't look as good as they were, but they're probably still going to beat up. So, man, I mean, there's a chance. I think I saw latest we were a couple games back, but we have a pretty easy schedule here for the next handful of games. And the NFC West is playing each other, right? Seattle doesn't look as good as they used to be. So, I mean, if you can get to 8-9 wins with that extra wild card team this year, but then again, we're still in purgatory, right? It's not going anywhere.
If you were a Vikings to the playoffs guy, if that was like your thing, you needed to cheer hard for DeAndre Hopkins to drop that ball. Because I think the Cardinals are going to be primary competition for your wild card spot that you're going for. The Minnesota Gophers are not been as good as
no.
Coming into the season,
confidence is high. Repeat, confidence is high.
It doesn't look good. I don't know what the hell is wrong. They have issues on defense that they don't have Mike Zimmer on the sideline to figure out. Their offense looks terrible. Tanner Morgan, I don't know what happened. He does not look like the same quarterback. And I will say this, Tanner Morgan was a guy that lost the starting quarterback job twice to Zach Anixed. So maybe last year was a little bit fluky, but I mean, he doesn't even look like a legit option at the position anymore. It's ugly.
Yeah, and the game plans are definitely skewing away from him as much as possible. I mean, they would just want to jam Ibrahim down people's throats if it's all possible. You know, the defense at the beginning of last year was terrible, and they fired the defensive coordinator. Everything got better, and that kind of sparked the run.
That was the year before.
That was 2 years ago. No.
But the defense was not good at the beginning of last year either.
Right.
Giving up a lot of points to crappy teams.
Mm-hmm.
So that part was true, but that it was 2 years ago that they fired the defensive coordinator and hired Rossi.
Yeah.
They're young. I get it, but so was Iowa.
Yeah.
You know, and it was ugly.
Well, I kind of wish Dave was here, but you can take a step back and say, all right, take away the last 5 games of last year, and how do you feel about this team? You know what I mean? Go prior to the Penn State win, it was a lot of close wins against not very good teams, and maybe they just caught lightning in a bottle last year. Who knows? They're not good this year. That's for sure.
I think it's entirely possible that is true.
Right.
I think that the coaching change on the offensive coordinator side of things is making a huge difference. I think you're seeing it. Rashad Bateman is a downfield threat, and we're throwing it to him 15 times a game out of the slot. Like, what are you doing? Let him go get it. The other side of things is they have been running the ball really well. Mo Ibrahim is a stud. Mo Ibrahim's the first running back with consecutive 200-yard and 4 touchdown games in the Big Ten since 2002. Anybody know who that last guy would have been?
Marion Barber.
No, but that would be in the right time frame.
The Wisconsin back.
No.
Right.
Ron Dane?
Ron Dane won the Heisman in '99, I believe.
Okay, too
Who
little
was
too
after
early.
him?
Penn State. He was a Penn State running back. He was a first-round draft pick.
Yeah.
He was a backup in his first NFL job to Priest Holmes.
Larry Johnson.
Correct.
There you go.
Yeah, Larry Johnson was a stud in college. Absolute stud.
He was a stud in the NFL too.
He was. It wasn't a long run, but it was a good run.
Yeah, it was.
Yep. Do you guys watch the Masters at all this weekend?
I didn't.
I'm drinking a.
Nice.
That's cool.
Yeah,
like it.
Junkyard Brewing. I picked it up because of the can. So great hit
Yeah.
on their part.
Yeah.
Not a bad beer.
Not as good as the can though.
No, the can's A+. The beer's
Yeah.
B+.
Yeah, that's still pretty good.
Drinkable.
Mhm.
Uh,
A B plus for Derek is probably about I saw an A in our book.
that's probably fair.
I'm drinking Sierra Nevada on sale beer of the week celebration.
Yeah. Are the
it
hops
was-
still fresh? Because that's a great beer when it's fresh.
Well, it was $14 for a 12-pack. So
What a deal.
packaged October 1st.
I guess it could be worse. Yeah, I was unable to watch the Masters as well. I was out in California. I went to Sequoia National Park
Cool.
and saw the sequoia trees, which are something to see.
Mhm.
Massive.
Did you bring any substances to help enjoy the surroundings?
I did not.
Hmm.
Though when I finished a hike and was standing on a rock and looking around at all the mountains around and people were drinking beer, I wondered what I was doing with my life. How did I not bring a beer to enjoy up there?
Yeah.
That's a mistake I won't make again.
Yeah.
Rookie mistake.
But yeah, the bit I did watch of the Masters, it seems like the greens were much easier to navigate than usual, and that probably is just fall compared to spring and the amount of rain and the weather and whatever else that they've done to prepare that course. But it was neat to see pictures. I was worried a few weeks out when Augusta looked brown, but those groundskeepers are the best in the world for a reason.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. Yeah, I mean, DJ is obviously a very good player, but it's hard to look at anything going on this year and not put an asterisk by it, right?
Absolutely.
I don't know if, if we go forward, if people will look back in history and talk about DJ, setting the scoring record at Augusta the same way as if it was played in the spring.
I think one thing that will not have an asterisk on it is the Busch League trophy.
That's true.
The Busch League, so long as the NFL finishes the season,
Yep.
will produce a winner, and there will be a trophy to hand out, and there will be some cash payouts. And right now, there are a few people that are all but eliminated, or maybe officially eliminated.
Yeah, I'm officially eliminated.
Just a real quick rundown. According to my tallies, Train, you're in rough shape. It looks like Dave is in your same boat, and Phil. It looks like those three teams are mathematically done.
Yeah. The one that surprises me the most. Well, I shouldn't say surprises me. I think Dave drafted a good team. I think that team in the hands of a few other owners in this league would probably be pecking right around the top. I think he did a wonderful job in the draft.
I don't disagree with you. If he would have traded Lamar right away, maybe 2-3 weeks in, early on, and gotten top value for Lamar Jackson, there's no question that he could have had one of the best teams, if not the best team, because Kyler's been an absolute stud, as Drew's finding out now as he's guiding his ship. Trading Lamar early would have been huge. Some of the moves he did make weren't bad, and he won this week despite not starting a full lineup. How did that feel, Drew?
You know what? The worst part was I got beat by, his highest scorer was the guy I traded to him a handful of weeks ago. So a little bit of revenge. And I was giving him crap, but right on one run, the 98-yard touchdown run, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, after Jones fumbled, all of Twitter's basically saying they're going to bench him. Here comes the Fournette game. Blah blah blah.
It was looking good there for a while.
Everything can change on a play. As far as kind of other teams and foreshadowing the Busch League and the playoff situation, Tim Grieve is a long shot, but Tim Grieve can still make the playoffs.
Extremely long shot.
Let's be realistic. I guess there's a chance.
Kevin Garnett once said anything is possible. Adam Hartman needs some good things to happen for him to get in. It's not going to happen. I will win one of the next 2 games to eliminate him. This was a huge win for me this week, beating him. I do not have good track record against him. I don't know what the overall record is or the history, but I can say that he dominates our series.
Oh, let me just look that up for you.
So to get a win this week was huge, and essentially eliminate him from the playoffs felt just wonderful.
For anybody wondering where they can find this information, bushleaguemn.com. Records head to head.
I also was on bushleaguemn.com this week. Adam and I were talking about how often do you think a guy with the first round bye wins the Busch Bowl? So I looked it up because we have all that information on the website. 6 out of the last 10 years.
Okay.
You have a bye going into the playoffs. You win 60% of the time.
Hey, fun fact. In the 12-team era, 3 times that has been me that has had the bye, and all 3 times I have not advanced to the. So if you're not me, there's only one other instance of having a bye and not winning the Busch Bowl. So
2 teams get a bye a year, just so everybody knows. If you're watching this and don't understand, train's a little crazy right now. 2 teams every year get a bye, but he definitely brought the percentage down of teams that teams that had a bye and won. So
8-6. Hartman is 8-6 after this week, so he was 8-5 against you going into that week.
Yeah. So I don't have a losing record against many teams. Let's put it that way.
Oh, good for you.
That is very good for me.
As a matter of fact, you have a losing record to Max and Phil. Actually, and Grieve.
Grieve's a weird one.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: is you were in the same division as Dave and Drew for most of you're 12-5 against Dave. You're 12-5 against Drew. Pretty much the rest of the league, you might be about 500.
It helps to play bad teams.
God.
Looking at other teams here, Tim Lang, Drew Vogt, you are in a very, very tight matchup to get that division and likely playoff spot, and the team that loses might be on the outside looking in.
Well, let's put it this way. I lost this week. So did Lang. And he was ahead of me last week, but he put up, a 50 spot?
59.
and
Yeah.
I jumped ahead. So
That was huge.
big swing.
Miss on his part in terms of his team and what they did. He's struggling a little bit right now.
That was a team. If you'd asked me 2-3 weeks ago, probably 3 weeks ago, I really liked that team a lot. And then he lost Kittle, and then Zeke basically turned into like an RB4. And Aaron Jones has been hurt.
Down, basically, Zeke's been nothing. Aaron Jones has been hurt. Yeah, ew, it got ugly in a hurry for Langer.
It went from real good to real bad.
He's
Drew,
starting
like your
Taysom
team's got
Hill.
a ton of depth. The
He is starting Taysom Hill. I did not know that Taysom Hill had tight end
tight
eligibility.
end status.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
He is praying to God that he plays quarterback this week.
Well, hey, he's probably gonna play some quarterback this week. Like
Huh?
with Drew Brees out and Jameis Winston coming in, he might get some run.
The interesting thing was when Breeze got hurt last year and Teddy was quarterback. Taysom Hill took 0 reps at quarterback. They completely went away from that kind of in and out thing, probably to try to get their backup quarterback into a rhythm. I'll be interested to see if Sean Payton's like, yeah, Jameis, let's chuck that pigskin.
Yeah. We'll see after the 3rd interception how he feels.
Yep. Drew, a lot of depth on your team. How do you feel about kind of going forward here in terms of beating Lang? And I guess Adam technically could sneak in and win that division still.
Well, that's the thing. I play Adam this week.
Yeah.
So
big game for you this week.
it's huge. Again, I was pretty confident. If you would ask me this afternoon when they were projecting Carson to play. Now they're projecting Carson not to play. He's a game time decision, so I guess we'll see. I mean, feel like I've been scrambling. I have depth, but that running back has been a mess for me ever since I traded some of that depth, and then Carson went out.
Yeah, the running back position as a whole this year, it's been tough beyond the top few, and even you had to guess right on those top few because of injuries and ineffectiveness. It's been a mess. I feel like I'm scrambling at that position all year round.
Yeah, I think everybody has.
Right.
Let's see, Drew.
I do like Drew. I mean, I think if the biggest issue that Hardman has right now is that Derrick Henry's schedule is murder right now. He's got Baltimore this week. He's got another tough matchup next week. End of the season, it gets dramatically easier, but I mean, if he can sneak in, I think he might be dangerous just based off Derrick Henry and Devontae Adams, but I don't know if he's going to make it that far because this can be tough sledding for Henry.
Drew, is Duke Johnson your answer for running back 2?
That's going to have to be the scramble again, man. And I got rid of David Johnson because I didn't like him, because I didn't like any Tennessee running backs. But again, as you discussed, I mean, you got to scramble at the waiver wire, try to find something to piece it together.
It's been interesting because it seems like every week there is a guy on the waiver wire that would have been a crucial pickup. Last week, Nyheim Hines, Malcolm Brown a couple times. It's like, but the other weeks are zeros.
Yep.
I see Train shaking his head.
I'm so
he looks
freaking
like
irritated.
a former Nyheim Hines owner.
Yeah.
So irritated by that Colts backfield. I can't even tell you. Like, I can't remember. Did I draft Marlon Mack in this league?
I think you did.
I think so.
I did. Yeah, because I drafted Marlon Mack in 3 leagues, as a matter of fact, because I thought Marlon Mack was the better player. He's a good running back. I just thought the entire time that they're not trying to get away from Marlon Mack. Fine, you want to draft Jonathan Taylor, fine. But it's still Marlon Mack's backfield, and so I drafted him on the cheap. Of course, he tears his Achilles, so then I pick up Nyheim Hines, and Jonathan Taylor
Jordan Wilkins. I mean,
he's not good. He might be good.
It's been a mess. The Rams are the same way. I mean,
but they don't have a top, whatever he got picked. I don't remember what his position was, but he was a high draft pick. And irritating. And then it amplifies the situation by the fact that I then traded away Tyler Lockett for Jonathan Taylor to fill.
Wrong. Man, you are one pathetic loser.
I deserve
What
that.
an idiot.
I deserve
Oh, what a loser. Good.
Well, you traded him to
More for
Phil,
me and
who
you.
was in the same boat.
Yeah, he's
so.
not any better than me. And actually, I got Marvin Jones, who's been really good. But
Yeah. Since Galladay's been out, especially, Marvin Jones has been Stafford's number one target for sure. Max Aponte certainly looks like he's going to be a playoff team.
Yep.
I don't think Max's team is any good. It just doesn't do anything for me. But he's there, and chip chair chance, sort of thing. But I mean, this week Max's team is projected for 94 points.
Yeah.
And he's really only out of his guys. He's really only missing Diggs, which Diggs is a great player, no question, and he's a leading receiver. But boy, Max's team is not great.
Yeah, he's got tough matchups this week too. I mean, you got Kamara. He always got a chance, right?
For sure. Yep. And Mike Evans is super hit and miss in terms of, he can put up 30.
God, I miss Jameis Winston in that offense.
Yeah. It was more fun, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
They're better now, simply by
They're
not turning
better.
the ball over.
They are better, but fantasy not nearly as fun.
No, it's not. That brings us to John Thompson. I told you guys about 5 weeks ago when John had, I think, 1 win or maybe 2, that he was going to get a first-round bye. And nobody believed me, not even John himself. But here we are. John's sitting at 6-4. He's got a huge point advantage over Max, who's also sitting at 6-4. I got to think that John's going to end up with a first-round bye, and his team is stacked if he only has to win a couple games.
Yeah, he happened to play it exactly right in that he's streaming running backs. I mean, he's just constantly streaming running backs, and that's fine because there is not any good running back options. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Mike Davis is going to win him a championship.
Yep. He put all his eggs in baskets that weren't running back, and that was the right thing to do this year. He zigged when the league zagged, and like it is so many times, that ends up being the right thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. He went Mahomes, Kelsey, and I've ridden that thing to a championship before.
Mm-hmm.
Love that combo. You have by far the best tight end in the league, and you have the best quarterback in the league, and you just fill out the rest of the roster and figure it out from there. Yeah,
the gap on Kelsey to tight end 2 right now is like, I mean, we're talking about Gronk separation, basically. I mean, this is $30+ value because there's just no other good tight ends.
There isn't. I mean, all the other tight ends that we thought were going to be at least good, if not great, the Mark Andrews, the Darren Wallers, the Zach Ertz types have been hurt, have been ineffective, have had quarterbacks that can't get them the ball, whatever it might be, and it's enormous.
Well, and to your point, I mean, he hit, right? So, I mean, with Mahomes and Kelsey, you almost giving them 40, 50 points right there, right? They're going probably 25 and 15. So you already got 40, and then he hits on Mike Davis with McCaffrey out. Then he hits on Kareem Hunt with Chubb out. Granted, Chubb's back, but Kareem Hunt still got quite a bit of a share there.
Got 100 yards rushing last week.
Right. I mean, you got a couple RB2s that ended up being RB1s. And you already got the best QB and tight end. Got Julio. It's scary.
Yep.
Well, and he drafted Devontae Adams.
Yeah, that trade, he was desperate. That was a mistake, and I think he'll tell you that. And especially if he ends up losing in the playoffs with Devontae Adams having big weeks, he will forever regret that trade.
Yeah.
But you never know with Julio either. Julio can go huge.
He can. That's true.
And Julio could win you a title too.
Yeah.
We shall see. The best division in this league is the Bulldog division. The worst team in that division is Hold Me Closer, Tiny Dantzler. I am 6-4. I am holding on to the last wild card slot as of this moment. I tried to do exactly what John did, but he did it better. I have not hit on the running backs. I have been searching for a running back all season long. Thankfully, Josh Jacobs is back from the dead, and that's improved my team a ton. But this week, I mean, I'm rocking Keelan Balash. That's my number 2 running back. I guess we'll go with him, right? Hopkins has been huge. Russell Wilson is going to continue to be good. I know he had a bad week last week, but they'll get back to hucking that pigskin and letting Russ cook. I need Galladay to be healthy. Speaking of Marvin Jones and being good, Galladay is the best receiver in that offense, and they throw the ball quite a bit. But he's been hurt all year, and that's been tough.
Yeah. You mentioned Russ, and I've been as big a Russ proponent as anybody, and he's not on a great team. I don't think he makes that team great, but it's been some questionable decision making over the last several weeks with Russ.
His interception in this last game was terrible.
Yeah, and you start to look at it and think, like for me, I've always questioned why Pete Carroll is so insistent on running the ball when you have such a good quarterback. And it may be that. It may be, it may be the interception in the end zone to lose the Super Bowl, and that
wasn't his fault.
It wasn't his fault, but okay, fine. I mean, that's cherry picking. But 3 picks against the Cardinals, and in short order, by the way, he was a turnover machine in the second half in that game.
Yeah.
And I don't know. You just think you always want to compare he's having an MVP type year, compare it to the Peyton Manning MVP years, the 50 touchdown years, and the Tom Brady 50 touchdown year. And it doesn't feel like that at all.
No,
Granted, he's got so much volume. Yeah. He's got so much volume, he'll be fine from a fantasy perspective. But
yep. No, I agree with you. I was wondering the same thing, honestly, watching it. Is Pete Carroll doing that because Russell Wilson maybe isn't as good as we all think he is? Or is Russell Wilson so anxious to try to make a damn play because he never gets to, that he's going Brett Favre on the bit and just hucking it? Because some of those throws this last week looked like the latter. That it's just like, I'm tired of not being able to throw the ball. I want to throw the damn ball. And when he did, he threw it.
That's true. I mean, he's a veteran in this league at this point, and he's basically made a career throwing the ball 25 times a game, even though he's one of the better quarterbacks. I mean, top couple quarterbacks in the NFL through most of his career. So what would his decision-making process be like if he had been given more rope up until this point?
Yeah, something we'll never know, but a great question. The leading wild card team is the program. Todd Train, great addition to the league. I'd like to say that. He's got a team that is solid, and it revolves around Dalvin Cook. Yep. If Dalvin Cook goes down, as we saw earlier in the season, Todd's team's not that great. Dalvin Cook's playing, it's one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah, and Antonio Gibson has been a nice one for him. He's done it most of it without Michael Thomas, which he spent $35 on, despite the fact that Devontae Adams went for like 22, and DeAndre Hopkins was in the low 20s as well. He hit pretty well on DeAndre Swift. If there's one guy that really nailed the running backs this year, it's Todd, and it was a hard thing to do, but he hit it right, and he's been riding that.
For sure. Swift's going to be a good player from now to the end of the season. Now that they've decided to pull back Adrian Peterson and basically eliminate Kerryon Johnson, like DeAndre Swift's going to be a good fantasy player.
Yeah. I think that could have been you, Drew, if you had not traded for Eckler.
Yeah. Everything looks better in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, hindsight's 2020.
Exactly. Well, really, I guess when you really go through Todd's team, right, it's Michael Thomas finally got healthy, and now he doesn't have a quarterback to throw to. But, man, I guess I look at his team. It's just, he's got Dalvin, Roethlisberger. It's kind of just a mishmash of whatever. I mean, he's been able to start the right guys every week. There isn't one or two really. I mean, you got Dalvin, but, I mean, look through his lineup. It's not a bunch of big stars, right? But yet he's still the top wild card team. So he's doing his work, making
He's
it
projected for 121 this week. Compare that to Max's 90. You know,
right.
That's huge. You take Delvin out of the lineup, and he's still better than Max.
Yeah,
Well, that's-
I think you're underselling Gibson and Swift a little bit.
Well, that's what I mean.
Players.
That's what I mean. You look at him though, and it's Gibson wasn't that great earlier in the year, right?
Right.
Now, and that's the thing. I mean, when you have superstars, so the projected points is a bunch of crap because I'm projected at like 115 every week, and I'm scoring around 100 every week. So, but like even with Dalvin, right? He's projected for 24. It's like an average running back is like 13, 14, right? I mean, you can take 10 away from that.
But
granted, Dalvin's
Delvin
not an
averages
average.
26 a game. So
Well, that's what I mean. He's not an average running back, right? So I mean, you got to hit on a couple of those guys, and
having a superstar makes it a lot easier to win in fantasy, which is again why we talk about John's team being so good. He's got two of them. They just have to be at positions that we don't value as much.
Right.
Todd has not been as active as Jeff on the waiver wire, but arguably just as effective.
And that's what I was trying to get at, right? He's making it work. That's what I mean. Like, he's finally hit on a couple guys
of players that are useful. Where my bench is filled with a bunch of backup running backs.
Mm-hmm.
The best team in the league, Soup du Jour, ran it to 9-1 this week. I still don't think it's that great a team, but he just keeps on winning.
Yeah, he similar story to John. Really, he zigged when everybody else zagged, and I mean his wide receivers are awesome. He hit on Darren Waller.
He hit on DK. I mean, I thought DK was going to be a fine player. You know, I didn't think that he would be, wide receiver 4 or ish, whatever he is, top 5.
Yeah. Yep, he did hit on DK. McLaurin's good. Tyreek Hill's a stud, and Aaron Rodgers has been much better, I think, than what was projected. But I feel the same way in that you look at the roster and you think, who's the home run hitter here? You know what I mean?
Yep. Tyreek Hill is the number 2 receiver in our league.
Mm-hmm.
And DK is number 4. So 2 of the top 5 receivers. That's huge. Yep. And that's where he gets most of his value. McLaurin being number 10 at a flex is a great play too.
Yep.
Raheem Mostert comes back from injury, and his team gets a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
That San Francisco backfield's a mess with injuries. I picked up a guy today that I don't even know, can't even remember what his name is, honestly. But whoever starts at the San Francisco running back position is probably going to be good.
Yeah.
Chance.
And it looks like Kenyon Drake is probably going to keep the majority of the workload in.
Yes. I thought Chase would usurp him, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen.
Yeah.
That is the wrap up of the Busch League. I have somebody that wrote into the email box.
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody.
A D Picus would like a word.
All right. Is he listening to us at the bowling alley?
The inconsistency of the youthful defense has put unneeded pressure on the offense, who is without the right side of what would have been the best O-line in the Big Ten. Furthermore, Mo Ibrahim has shown what we all have said he would be the past 2 years, and that is an elite back.
Oh my God. Can I just say that after the last 4 years, I'm so sick of hearing, we knew it all along. It's exactly what we projected. But point taken. Point taken. What do you think about that, Derek?
The offensive line thing is a consideration. I mean, you are missing 2 all Big Ten linemen, all Big Ten quality linemen. That said, it's a mess. It's a mess. You'd have to score 50 points a game to be winning these games. And so there is some truth to that, and sure, maybe having a better offensive line in front of him makes Tanner a little bit better, but there's still big time issues with your quarterback.
They're still getting beat by Iowa 35-0.
Exactly. Yeah.
35-7
margin.
That's what it ended up being. It was 35-7 before it was 35-7.
Hey, they snuck that 7 points in there.
Yeah, good for them.
Iowa didn't leave those 3 timeouts.
Yep.
All right. That brings us to just a real quick discussion of how bad Tim Grieve is at fantasy football. Train sent out some statistics today, and it turns out that Grieve is still on track to be the worst team in Busch League history.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to get me. I can't believe it.
Drew does own, through the full season, the 2 worst teams in the Busch League's history. That is why he's the dumpster fire. He will always be the dumpster fire. But man, Grieve's got it hard.
Yeah, and when you lose 2 guys, you lose $90 worth or whatever it was, $85 worth of your draft for basically the entire season. I feel for you. I don't know.
No, not really.
Well, I mean, it is what it is.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
It didn't.
It was a bold strategy, and it did not pay off. I should look at that. Was the 12-team era. I should look at the all-time here. See where he falls.
There's got to be worse. There's got to be a Dave team in there.
I would imagine so. Season lowest all played. Dave Pikus, 2007 at 132. I think that's safe.
I think that's safe.
That'd be hard to beat.
Boy.
That was a Dave non-participation year. I can remember. We were on
NFL.com. That's got to be damn near last place every single week. I mean, you beat 1 out of 10 teams ish.
Yep.
Ooh.
John Thompson was also a 224.
Buzz your girlfriend. Woof.
Yeah, so Grieve's sitting in 5th place, 5th lowest all time. But we are in a new era.
It is a new era. It's completely different.
And of that era, Grieve will be the worst.
That's a call. He's staking his fantasy football reputation, which is not very good. That's a call.
Point. Yeah, not at this point.
Let's play a little
Busch Light.
Or
Busch League.
You kind of usurped my first one, which was Grieve will go down as the worst team of the 12-team era in Busch League history. Obviously, Train is going Busch Light. How do you feel, Drew?
I hate to say it, but I think it's Busch Light. I think he's going to take that title from me, and he will then own 3 of the bottom 10.
That's not good.
No. And points, lowest points per game, Drew, you still own that one at 84 to 86 and some points. So we'll see how that turns out.
Can't give them all up, Drew.
Yeah.
The DeAndre Hopkins catch, I'm sure everybody saw it.
Mm-hmm.
That was the best catch, or maybe let's just say the best play, period, of 2020. Would you say that's
Busch Light.
Or
Busch League.
I think that's Busch Light. I think so. Given the circumstances, I mean, it was an amazing catch to begin with, but I mean, there's probably been some pretty awesome catches that I'm not aware of, but to win a game last second and
Circumstances. Yep.
yep,
Situation.
and also Murray rolling, throwing cross or against his body from like freaking 50 yards away to get it there.
That was a crazy throw
Mhm.
that most quarterbacks in the NFL can't make.
Yeah.
Mahomes, obviously, with his eyes closed, but there are a lot of quarterbacks that couldn't make that throw. Underrated part of that play.
Yeah, he is fun to watch. My goodness, is he fun to watch? It's a little bit like watching. I was big into flag football back in my college days, and it's a little bit like watching like a 7-on-7 flag football with him. The way that he runs and gets away from, just gets out of trouble, and I don't know.
Would you say it's like watching Mario play flag football? Because that's all it reminds me of when he runs. Just those little short chopping steps.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I would say
Drew
that.
Hopkins catches the best play of 2020.
Yeah, all this time I can't think of any other outstanding play that really, that comes to mind right away for the entire season thus far. I mean, we could say, oh yeah, the Adam Thielen one-handed catch against the Bears, but again, under the circumstances, an overall play for the win, you got to go Hopkins thus far.
I got one more for you guys. The San Francisco quarterback in 2021 will be a top 8 fantasy performer. Would you say that is? Or
Busch League.
I'll take that. I'll go first. That's going to be Busch League. Kyle Shanahan, I mean, I guess I don't know where Garoppolo ended up last year, but he hasn't been good this year. Again, he's been injured. I mean, a lot can change in the NFL year to year, but I don't see them getting away from Garoppolo. They just gave him that extension whenever it was there, right? They're pretty much married to him, aren't they?
no. This is why I asked the question. There's a good chance they get rid of Garoppolo. And so we don't know who the quarterback is going to be.
So then who's a free agent that even go there?
Or they trade.
Kirk. We could all wish.
It's not impossible.
Boy, I don't know if I want to go Busch Light on it, but I think it's entirely possible. They got a lot of weapons on that offense. A lot. And I mean, Jimmy G was probably right in that area last year, I would think. Top 8. And I mean, it certainly depends on who it is. If they can pull a trade for an established starter, then I think that person's got a really good shot. If it ends up being some sort of journeyman or rookie or young, unproven guy, then probably not. But I think there's definitely a good shot at it because that's a dang good offense.
Their offense is stacked for the long term. They got a good line. Ayuk is going to be a good receiver.
Deebo Samuel's a beast.
When healthy, I think is a good player. Their running back room is full of guys who are good running backs when they're healthy. Or maybe just Shanahan is so great at scheming them that they all look good no matter who it is. One or the other, it doesn't matter. That you put a quarterback in there that's worth a damn. And
you didn't even say Kittle.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, the second best tight end in the league. Yeah, exactly. So that's why I brought up the question. That's what I was thinking.
Garoppolo was QB 14 last year.
Did he miss some time last year too with injury? I think he did. I want to say that Mullins played some last year too. Let's
see. According to the stats there, he played all 16 games last year.
Yeah.
Well, never mind. So do you guys?
Do you want to play a game?
Of course.
Little shift in the game. Same idea. But instead of describing a play as boring as possible, I am going to describe you a football movie.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Football movie.
All right.
You can ring in with your name.
It's too
Or
bad
just shout
John's
out.
not here. John would freaking crush
Dominate.
us.
I
Yeah.
did kind of design this game with John in mind. I thought he'd get real hot. So if you guys don't get some of these, don't feel terrible. John probably would, and he will shout them out at home on the computer when he's watching.
Mhm.
But let's go with number 1. QB's injury leads to turmoil. Back QB and new coach find way to persevere.
Backup QB and new coach. It's movies only, not TV shows.
Movies only.
Okay.
John would definitely get this one.
Drew, I'm gonna throw. I have no idea. Longest yard.
No.
Backup QB. My first thought went Varsity Blues, but I don't think there's a new coach in Varsity Blues. Is it Varsity Blues? You're looking at me like it's Varsity Blues.
Think about it.
Daddy was a no-talent pussy, but at least he listened.
What did they do to Coach Kilmer?
They tore down a statue, didn't they?
They just walked out of the damn locker room.
Okay. So Varsity Blues.
Lance Harbor, new coach.
Oh,
Drew
that's
the
right.
Hook and
Okay,
Ladder.
that's right. The last half. That's right. Last half of the. Okay, so first place my mind was Friday Night Lights, the TV show.
Sure. Yeah.
But,
They definitely Friday Night Lights drew a little bit from both Friday Night Lights the movie and Varsity Blues.
yeah.
No question.
Yeah. So Lance Harbor, what's that? The second half of the championship game.
Yep.
I don't know if I call him a new coach, but I digress.
He got the full-time opportunity.
Yeah. And he called the hook and ladder.
He called the hook and ladder.
That's right.
All right, number 2. Obnoxious mom cheers on adopted son.
Blindside.
Drew.
Sorry, I didn't say my name.
Yep. Correct. Hodgepodge group of criminals take on prison guards.
Drew. Longest yard.
There you go. That is longest yard. Number 4. Title favorites come up short after star running back blows out knee.
Train. Friday Night Lights.
Correct. Booby Miles
Yep.
blows out his knee.
You want to win? Put Booby in.
Brilliant. Number 5. New player inspires incompetent coach and takes college team to new heights.
Waterboy.
Correct.
Yeah.
Number 6. Poor dyslexic kid works hard to become college athlete.
Drew. Rudy.
Correct. Number 7. 30-year-old long shot sees field for the first time.
Train. It's a movie about the Philadelphia Eagles, and it's got Mark Wahlberg. I don't know what it's called, though.
Yes, all that is true.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Invincible.
Invincible.
There you go.
That's right.
Last one. Misfits led by a girl beat heavily favored team.
Train. Little Giants.
Correct.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was the
that's
thing.
fun.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Good work.
All right. We got the moron of the week, of course.
What an idiot! Oh, what a loser! Good. More for me and you. Man, you are one pathetic loser. You're a moron.
Who is this imbecile? I wish I knew.
Have you guys seen the story about the New York Giants and their offensive line and head coach?
I just saw he got fired.
The offensive line coach got fired today. Turns out that he started punching Joe Judge and kind of beat the crap out of him. You can't punch your boss and expect to keep your job. It just doesn't work that way. I don't care how much of an asshole he is.
You know, just like, oh man, maybe it's roid rage.
Maybe offensive line coach. I don't know. But yeah, anyways, they went fisticuffs in the locker room. Mark Colombo is the offensive line coach's name. He definitely won the fight, according to observers. He lost in the long run because he was fired immediately.
Yeah, and maybe maybe sued. Who knows?
Right.
There's a decent chance of that. Yeah.
But you won the fight. Good job, guy.
Yeah. Way to go, bud.
You're really tough.
Didn't they just win this week?
They won their last two.
Yeah, it'd be the Eagles.
I was listening to Colin Cowherd in the car the other day, which I just happened to catch, and he was calling the Giants the best 3-win team he's ever seen.
I read that crap. What garbage. As if you can name another 3 and whatever, 6 or 7 or whatever they are, like record team in NFL history. You can't name a single one.
Right.
Earlier, I was watching the NBA draft, and Stephen A. Smith comes on because Klay Thompson potentially hurt his leg. And Stephen A. talked about it for 10 minutes, like Jesus Christ was nailed to the cross. It was the biggest tragedy of all time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They get paid a lot of money to spew off nonsense really loudly.
Yeah.
And that's really all it is.
That's why I don't
one
watch
more question before we close. Where does Mike Zimmer finish in a coach battle royale?
Well, let's see. I feel like a good portion of NFL coaches are obese and probably not in very good physical condition.
Andy Reid's not coming in to win the thing.
No. Zimmer looks like he's in okay shape, but he's only got one good eye.
Exactly.
It's going to be a downside.
Yeah.
There's also some much younger guys out there that he's got to be an underdog against.
Sure.
Way
but,
underdog.
I mean, if you're talking about Sean McVay, who's very young, and Mike Zimmer, I might go Zimmer.
Man, McVay is pretty built.
Yeah.
He's one of those young guys that works out probably as much as his players do.
I got to say my winner of the Battle Royale would be Vrabel.
Oh, yeah.
Fairly fresh out of the NFL.
Oh, yeah. That's a good call.
There.
Definitely still ripped.
Yeah. Definitely going to kick someone's ass.
Yep.
I would put Zimmer maybe around the middle of the pack to slightly ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't buy his toughness against the younger guys. Some old guys are tough, and Zimmer obviously talks tough, but he's still old.
Mike Tomlin.
He's a young guy.
Cliff Kingsbury.
I think Zim could take Cliff Kingsbury. He's a ex-quarterback.
Although, how many coaches have gotten in front of a room full of people and said, if we'd have been out in the parking lot, we'd have had a fight? Zimmer said that in front of in a press conference.
He did. I don't know. I think you're underrating Zimmer, Drew.
I probably am, but Mike Zimmer's a little bit bigger than you guys give him credit or
he is
thinking about it. Yeah.
There's no question. He's a little bit. He's older and he's lost a step or two.
Yep. Ron Rivera. He seems like a mean.
Yeah. He looks like a big dude.
Yep. How far would Adam Gase get?
You ever remember watching the old wrestling bits where like the guy would run in and he'd last about 1 second?
Yeah. Yeah.
That is Adam Gase. This is why I said this is John's perfect episode, because John would be all over this bit.
Yeah, he would be. It's funny. Yeah, they run in and they get a full head of like still in stride, and then the guy just throws him over the ropes.
That's Adam Gase for sure.
Yeah.
Any last thoughts, guys?
No, man. I think we got her dicked.
Yeah, man. Big week. Let's go.
Confidence is high. Repeat, confidence is high.
Playoffs?
That's what she said.